Today, we're diving into a really cool solution for one of the biggest puzzles in our modern world, the supply chain. And to do it, we're going to look at a company that knows a thing or two about performance, Ferrari. But this isn't just about fast cars, it's about a totally new way of thinking about how everything gets from A to B.
Right, so we all know Ferrari. When you hear that name, you think speed, you think precision, you think the absolute peak of performance. These guys are masters of making things go incredibly fast.
But here's the thought. What if the biggest thing slowing Ferrari down isn't another car on the track? What if it's something hidden, deep inside their own system? That's the exact question that kicked off some really fascinating research.
To really get Ferrari's challenge, we have to zoom out for a second. Because honestly, this isn't just a Ferrari problem. It's a story about the complex web that brings us almost everything we use, every single day. And let's not sugarcoat it, our global supply chain is seriously fragile. We've built this amazing, globe-spanning network that's super powerful, but wow, it is also shockingly easy to break. I mean, we've all felt this firsthand lately, right? The semiconductor crisis brought the auto industry to its knees. That one ship, the Ever Given, got stuck in a canal and created a traffic jam for the entire planet. And COVID shutdowns showed us just how much we rely on factories that are thousands of miles away. Each one of these was like a massive warning light flashing. So what's the core weakness here? A huge part of the problem is something called the silo mentality. Basically, imagine a chain, but every single link is keeping secrets from the others. Each company is hoarding its own data, hiding its own problems, and just trying to do what's best for itself. That lack of sharing just creates chaos and makes the whole system super vulnerable when something goes wrong.
And that brings us right back to Maranello. Because even a company at the absolute top of its game, like Ferrari, was dealing with this exact same issue.
This quote from the research just hits the nail on the head. Ferrari suppliers, a lot of them smaller, family-run shops they'd worked with for years, had a habit of hiding their internal issues. They weren't trying to be malicious, they were just focused on hitting their daily target, not on being totally transparent with the mothership. And this wasn't just a small headache, it had major consequences. The production line was always at risk of grinding to a halt because some tiny, critical part might not show up. It made it almost impossible to increase production when they wanted to. And get this, Ferrari's planners were burning up to 3 hours every single day just on phone calls and emails, chasing down information that should have been right at their fingertips.
So staring down this hidden bottleneck, researchers teamed up with Ferrari to try something pretty radical, a way to see everything everywhere all at once. The key idea here is data visibility, and it's the complete opposite of that silo mentality we just talked about. Instead of everyone clutching their little piece of the puzzle, this is about everyone sharing their data in real time so you can build one single unified picture of the entire network.
The easiest way to think about it is like this. They basically built an AI-powered brain, a sort of control tower for the supply chain. And this brain can see everything at the same time, from the smallest supplier making a tiny component all the way up to the final car rolling off the assembly line. Now, the tech that makes this brain tick is called Model Predictive Control, or MPC. It's always working in a simple three-step loop. First, it collects all the real-time data from everyone in the network. Then, it uses that data to predict what's probably going to happen next, like a part shortage or a sudden surge in demand. And finally, it computes the best possible decision, not just for one company, but for the health of the entire system. It keeps everyone moving together.
Okay, so the theory sounds amazing, right? But the big question is, would it actually work under pressure? To find out, the researchers set up a kind of digital cage match.
They put two models head-to-head. In one corner, you had the decentralized model. That's the old way of doing things. Every company for itself, information locked away in those silos. And in the other corner, you had the new, centralized model, our control tower with total data visibility, acting like a quarterback for the whole team.
And they didn't just let them cruise. Oh no, they threw a massive crisis at them. They simulated a 20-day shutdown of a critical electronic supplier, basically recreating the semiconductor shortage. It was the ultimate stress test to see which one would crack.
So, after running these crazy intense simulations, who came out on top? Well, the results, they weren't just clear, they were absolutely jaw-dropping.
The numbers just speak for themselves. Take a look at the backlog. That's the pileup of orders you can't fill. During that simulated crisis, the old siloed model created a massive backlog, an index of almost 3.5. The new coordinated model, just 1.4. It just sailed right through the storm.
That is a 96% reduction in backlog. Let that number sink in. When disaster struck, the smart, connected system wasn't just a little bit better. It was playing a completely different game. It saw the problem coming and made tiny adjustments across the whole network to absorb the shock.
And it wasn't just about damage control. The new model was just plain smarter. It needed way fewer shipments to get the job done, 172 compared to 205 for the old way. So it's not just more resilient, it's also more efficient and better for the environment. So yeah, the victory was a landslide. The centralized, data-driven model was way better at managing inventory, way tougher against market shocks, had a smaller carbon footprint, and it even ran the calculations faster. It was a total knockout.
So what does all this mean for the future? Well, this experiment is way more than just a cool upgrade. It's a peek into a totally new way of running things. This isn't just about helping Ferrari build cars faster. It's about making our entire global economy more resilient.
The way the researchers see it, these control towers evolved through 4 levels. Most companies today are at level 1 or 2. They can see what's happening and maybe get an alert. The Ferrari project was a massive jump to level 3, where the AI helps humans make better decisions. But the end game, the big prize, is level 4, a fully autonomous supply chain that just runs itself, with AI making the best calls without a human ever needing to step in.
And that leaves us with this one last really big question to chew on. The whole point of this is to automate the headaches, right? To let a smart system handle the mind-boggling complexity of moving stuff around the planet. So when we get there, when our supply chains can pretty much run themselves, what new, bigger problems will we humans be freed up to solve?